Welcome to our deep dive today. Today we're going to be diving deep into the Quran. We're going to be looking at verses from surahs like Al-Muhadala, Al-Hashr, and a few others.
Looking forward to it.
Um,
These are very interesting surahs.
yeah, we're going to be uncovering hidden truths, seeking timeless guidance.
It's going to be quite a revealing journey,
Absolutely.
I think, as we go beyond just the surface of these verses.
Yeah.
And we really uncover deeper meanings and even some of the historical context.
Yeah, and I think even if someone listening has never even heard of the Quran before or these surahs,
Absolutely.
they can still get a lot out of this.
For sure.
And just so everyone listening knows,
Yeah.
think of these surahs as individual chapters.
Okay.
Each one has its own story to tell.
Like individual books almost.
Yeah, and our goal is not to preach to anyone.
No.
Our goal is to spark understanding and reflection.
I love that.
So with that said, let's unravel one of these threads with Surah Al-Mushadala.
Okay.
This translates to the arguing woman.
Interesting.
So imagine a woman approaching the Prophet Muhammad with a heartfelt plea about her husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Allah hears her directly.
Wow.
It's like he's part of the conversation.
He's always listening.
Yeah, it's not just about her being heard, though.
Right.
It's the implication that every word, every plea reaches Allah.
Yeah, and that's something that's highlighted throughout the Quran.
Yeah.
And this brings us to, I think, a key idea.
Okay.
Allah's all-encompassing knowledge.
Okay, so like how verse 7 of this surah says,
Yes.
there is no private conversation between three, but that he's the fourth of them. I mean, that could feel a little intense.
I can see why someone might misinterpret that.
Yeah.
But imagine it less like being watched
Okay.
and more like being truly understood.
Yep.
Because remember, verse 4 of Surah Al-Mumtahina. Indeed, Allah is with those who fear him and those who are doers of good.
Okay.
So it's not about catching us whispering secrets.
Right.
It's emphasizing that our intentions matter,
Yeah.
even more than we realize.
So it's more about knowing that our innermost selves are acknowledged
Yes.
and accounted for.
I love how you put that, yeah.
Yeah.
It really is about recognizing that we are accountable for our actions and our intentions.
That's actually quite profound.
It really is.
Uh-huh.
And that concept of accountability,
Yeah.
it leads us to another compelling topic
Okay.
that's addressed in the Quran.
Okay.
Divorce.
Okay.
Or talaq in
Uh-huh.
Arabic.
Okay.
And what's interesting is that Surah At-Talaq doesn't just state that divorce is permissible.
Right.
It actually outlines a specific process, emphasizing ethical conduct and responsibility.
Okay.
And this is detailed in verse 1.
So even in what can be a very difficult and emotional process,
Absolutely.
there's a framework for navigating it with dignity and fairness.
I think that's a really important point.
Yeah.
Because even in separation,
Yeah.
the Quran underscores the importance of kindness and support,
Okay.
as emphasized in Surah At-Talaq, verse 6.
That's pretty remarkable.
It is.
Islam seems to address such a difficult life event with a framework for compassion and justice.
It's about approaching these situations
Yeah.
with empathy and fairness,
Even when things are ending.
even when things are ending. Exactly.
Oh.
And this brings us to a broader point
Okay.
that resonates throughout the Quran.
Okay.
This idea that personal conduct is intricately woven with building a just and compassionate society.
Okay, we've gone from a woman seeking justice to divine knowledge to the very personal experience of divorce.
It's all connected.
Talk about a deep dive, huh?
That's the beauty of the Quran.
Yeah. What other revelations await us in the Quran?
We'll find out soon.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
So we've seen how the Quran can give guidance for personal journeys.
Right.
But now I kind of want to get into how it addresses like the social fabric of the community.
Yeah, it's really remarkable how these verses weave together individual faith and then this like collective responsibility.
That's a really good point.
And Surah Al-Hashr offers a powerful example of this connection.
Okay.
Verse 7 in particular reveals a profound principle, I think, of social responsibility that emerged from a pivotal moment in early Islamic history.
A pivotal moment, you say?
Yeah, this is really fascinating.
Okay, tell me more.
So picture this.
Okay.
The Prophet Muhammad and his followers, after years of persecution, they finally find refuge in Medina.
Right.
However, there's a Jewish tribe there
Okay.
called the Banu Nadir.
Okay.
And they end up breaking their treaty with the Muslims. And this forces their exile from Medina.
Wow, that's quite a turn of events.
It's a very tumultuous time.
So how did this lead to the verses in Surah Al-Hajj?
So after the exile, the Muslims were suddenly entrusted with all of the Banu Nadir's wealth and resources that were left behind. It was a huge responsibility and really a test of their character. A chance for them to demonstrate their faith in action.
I see, like a real test of how to act justly.
Absolutely.
In a time of upheaval.
Yeah, you could say that. And that's where verse 7 of Surah Al-Hajj comes in, instructing the Muslim community to distribute this wealth among specific groups. This wasn't just charity. It was about establishing a system of social justice.
Wow.
Making sure that the most vulnerable were cared for.
That's incredible.
It really highlights the importance of taking care of those in need.
Yeah, it sounds like they were established.
A real safety net?
You could say that.
Making sure everyone's needs were met?
Absolutely. It's about fostering a sense of community and ensuring that everyone has their basic needs met.
That's such a powerful message.
It is a powerful message.
It really resonates even today.
Absolutely.
But it makes you kind of wonder if you're so focused on spiritual growth, does that mean you have to neglect worldly pursuits?
That's a question a lot of people grapple with. But the Quran actually offers a really beautiful answer to that. If you look at Surah Al-Jumu'ah, specifically verses 9 and 10, it encourages Muslims to observe Friday prayer, which is a central act of worship. But then it says to disperse within the land and seek from the bounty of Allah.
So it's like saying, go fulfill your spiritual duties and then go out and make something of yourself.
Out in the world.
It's about finding that balance between your spiritual life and your worldly life.
That's a really refreshing perspective.
It's a holistic approach to life.
Yeah, and it reminds me of something that we see sometimes in our own lives that can create an imbalance. Hypocrisy. And the Quran... it doesn't shy away from addressing this.
It addresses it head on in Surah Al-Munafiqun, which literally means the hypocrites. And these verses really expose the hypocrisy of those who outwardly profess belief, but secretly they're working against the community.
I imagine that's a really difficult thing to address.
It's a sensitive topic.
Especially in matters of faith.
Yeah, but rather than simply condemning hypocrisy, the Quran encourages us to really look deeper. To try to understand the reasons behind this behavior.
That's really interesting. What could lead someone to...
That's a great question. It often stems from this internal struggle. This dissonance between a person's actions and their beliefs.
So like they're not aligned with their true selves.
It could be a fear of judgment, a desire for acceptance, or even a lack of conviction in their own faith.
It sounds like a really heavy burden to carry.
It can be.
To have that disconnect between what you show the world and who you are inside.
Absolutely. And that's where the Quran offers a really powerful antidote to this.
What's that?
And that's sincere repentance. Surah At-Tahrim, verse 8, reminds us that it's never too late to acknowledge our shortcomings, to turn back to our values and seek forgiveness.
So even when we stumble, even when we stray from what we believe are principles, there's always a path back to authenticity and alignment.
Absolutely. And speaking of facing internal struggles, the next part of our journey takes us into the heart of individual tests of faith and the perseverance of truth.
We've talked about how the Quran guides like personal and communal life, but what about those times when our faith is like truly tested?
Yeah, that's a really important aspect of the spiritual journey.
Yeah, when we face those inner struggles and even like external pressures.
Absolutely.
How do these verses like offer guidance for that?
Well, the Quran actually doesn't shy away from these challenges. In fact, it provides a really powerful example in Surah At-Tahrim, verse 1, where we see this very human moment for the Prophet Muhammad himself.
Oh, tell me more about this.
So this verse recounts a time when the Prophet felt compelled to prohibit something that was actually permissible.
Wow.
According to Allah.
Okay.
And is likely because he wanted to please some of his wives.
Okay, so he was like trying to...
Yeah, it's a reminder that even prophets,
right,
even those who are closest to Allah,
yeah,
they grapple with these moments of weakness.
oh,
They seek the approval of others.
it's comforting in a way to
Yeah.
know that even the most devout among us
Yeah.
face these like human struggles.
It's a very human story.
It is.
And it's not just about this one moment
Right.
in the prophet's life.
feel like-
It really highlights a universal theme
Yeah.
that we see throughout the Quran,
Okay.
which is this importance of following your own conscience
Okay.
and really holding fast to your values,
Yeah.
even when you're facing pressure
Yeah.
from external sources.
It's hard.
It is hard.
To do that
Yeah.
sometimes.
But the Quran reminds us.
Yeah.
Look at Surah Al-Mumtahina, verse 1.
Okay.
It urges believers to prioritize their commitment
Right.
to Allah and His Messenger
Yeah.
above all other allegiances.
That takes a lot of strength, I think.
It does. It takes courage.
Yeah, to stand up.
It's about standing up for what you believe in
Yeah.
and staying true to your principles.
And that often comes with challenges.
It does.
Yeah.
And sometimes that stand
Yeah.
requires a collective strength,
Okay.
a unity of purpose.
So we need each other.
We do.
Okay.
We need to support each other.
Yeah.
And Surah Asaf, verse 4,
Okay.
really paints this vivid picture of this.
Okay.
It says, "Those who fight in the cause of Allah are like a structure joined firmly as if it were a compact edifice."
Wow.
So it's like this image of
Yeah.
strength and solidarity.
It's powerful
It is.
that we can like draw power
Absolutely.
from having together.
When we have that shared conviction,
Yeah.
it's like a building
Right.
that needs a strong foundation.
Yeah, to withstand those storms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So any worthy cause
Yeah.
requires this level of commitment,
Yeah.
this unwavering belief
Wow.
in what you're striving for.
That's a really empowering message of resilience.
It is about resilience.
Yeah.
It's about strength.
But what about those times when we just feel completely overwhelmed?
Yeah, we all have those moments.
Yeah, by life's challenges.
Absolutely.
When the path ahead just seems uncertain
Yeah.
and hope feels distant.
The Quran offers a really comforting message in those moments,
Okay.
a beacon of hope,
Okay.
reminding us that ease follows hardship.
Oh, wow.
Surah At-Talaq, verse 11,
Okay.
states, Allah will bring about, after hardship, ease.
It's that simple.
It is that simple.
That's so
It's
powerful.
a very profound message.
Yeah, it speaks to that experience we all
It's
have
universal.
of facing those trials and tribulations.
Knowing that there are going to be ups and downs in life,
Yeah.
but there's always that belief that brighter days lie ahead.
Yeah.
That's what this verse reminds us.
And it's a reminder that even when we can't see it,
Exactly.
when we're surrounded by like
Even in the darkest of times,
darkness. Yeah.
Allah has a plan. And that plan encompasses a brighter future.
It's a really beautiful message
It is.
to end our deep dive on.
It is a message of hope.
Yeah. And it's universal.
Absolutely.
But
It's
more-
not just for...
So it transcends any specific faith. It's
yeah.
for anyone
It resonates with it.
who's facing adversity
Yeah.
and come out on the other side stronger.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
It's been a pleasure exploring these verses with you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you to everyone listening.
Until next time.